Best of luck to you. Now, our first guest is a well-loved comic actor who's starred in hit shows, including The Comic Strip Presents and Bottom, and who could forget, of course, his performance as Punk Vivian in The Young Ones. With his days of teenage rebellion firmly behind him, he's now partaking in slightly more tranquil pursuits, investigating the stories that lie within the heart of the Yorkshire Dales. Oh, please welcome Adrian Edmondson.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very kind.
Oh, look at that scone. We were all dribbling.
Can I just say, just bearing in mind the two items you already had about al fresco loving and protest marches, my wife and I only really like making love during protest marches. So we're looking forward to a period of instability.
So you had a busy weekend then?
Yeah, certainly did. And I stole some jam at the same time.
No wonder you like the Dales. What is the connection with you and the Yorkshire Dales?
Well, I was born in Bradford and lived in Bradford, and the Dales was sort of my sort of playground when I was a kid. We used to go there on day trips. When I went to school, it was where all the school trips went to Malham. I went to 3 different schools. They all did the same field trip. And then as a teenager, we used to go camping and trying to talk to lovely ladies and get drunk.
The al fresco loving's coming back again.
Yes, well, it didn't actually happen at all. Al fresco or other.
It is beautiful. I mean, the scenery in that clip. I'm in a real country bumpkin now, and I love living in the countryside. So, is that what appealed to you to show everybody the beauty?
It's not really. It's not a celeb on holiday in the Dales. It's it's a factual documentary about people who are living and working in the Dales. So there were kind of 4 documentary teams following all these different stories, and I just kind of glue it together.
Right. How familiar were you with it all, though? I mean, did you spend a lot of time up there? Because you live in the West Country, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to the Dales since I was about 18. Until about 7 years ago, when you go touring, you know this, and you play the same theatre for a week, and normally I just sit in the hotel all day and bore myself watching telly. Well, obviously not loose women. But towards
it's a bonus, isn't it, when you're on tour and you've got nothing else
Then I started thinking, I must do something else. So I used to rent cars and drive out. And I drove out to Wensleydale, and it was just unbelievable.
And it has remained, that's really... What looks interesting to me about your programme, though, is to see how tough it is, actually, say, from a farming point of view, to make a living nowadays, but it still is like All Creatures Great and Small. I mean, it's
bizarre. I mean, you look at it on the map of Britain, and you think, well, that must be, it's not very far away from Leeds, Bradford, Manchester, Bolton. You think it must be teeming with people. But it's completely empty. Oh. And it takes an hour to get there from any train station.
Lots of sheep, though. Yes.
Yeah. Like sheep?
Yeah. Oh, but you met some people, didn't you? Didn't you meet, like, a guy who's, like, 16 or something?
Yes. Well, it's a sad story, but with hope at the end. This little kid, his dad unfortunately died, and he just left school, and his mum and he had to sort of make the decision to sell the dairy herd, as it were, and decide to start training sheepdogs instead. He's a very, very inspiring little boy.
Mm. And the lady that was serving you tea and scones there, she had a baby strapped to her front.
Her.
Are you?
She's like
Does Jennifer know about this?
Like an Uber woman.
Yeah. I mean, that baby was how many weeks old?
I think she's popped out a couple more since then. But she
was running around like
and they live in such a sort of isolated little farmhouse up in the hills. They get snowed in for sort of 3 or 4 months at a time. Wow. And but she's married.
Oh, so are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I am.
On the subject of your good lady wife, how's she doing?
She's very, very well. Thank you very much for asking.
Good. She's in good health, Fettle?
She is. Yeah. I know you all want to talk about cancer, but we've kind of...
we just want to make sure she's
stopped
okay.
doing because it becomes what you are, isn't it?
We just wanted to say hi to her.
Well, I'm sure she'd
on a lighter note, you have been keeping us very entertained on a Saturday night in a tutu.
Oh. Don't talk about our meetings.
Let's dance for comic relief. What on earth possessed you?
Well, they kind of asked me to come up with like some iconic dance. Most people do what you kind of generally see, and I sort of trawled the internet looking for famous dances and found this, The Dying Swan, which was written for Anna Pavlova. And
there you are. Oh, there you lovely.
You look good in lycra.
Yeah.
Your legs.
Yeah, the ankles aren't bad. The rest of it's a bit rubbish.
And you've also I mean, Rick Mail came on at the end of that routine and hit you around the head with a pan.
Yes.
Which is your kind of old comedy partnership. But there's a new one forming, isn't there, between you and good old grumpy Jack D?
Yes, we did a thing last year called Monte Carlo or Bust, which didn't quite work as an entire programme, but our little segment worked quite well. So we're kind of exploring that. We're going to make a documentary series about fast food, I think.
You too?
Yes.
What you do? What's your
Eating it
obsession with
fast?
fast food?
We want to find out where it comes from.
Oh, you don't?
No, we don't.
No,
I mean,
don't ruin it for the rest of us. A couple of bottles of wine, anything seems like a good idea. Really?
No, the history of a Frankfurter, where does it come from?
Oh, right,
It must take you from a kind of baseball game in America to, I imagine, sort of 15th century Vienna.
Yeah.
OK, so you're not going to some factory going, look, here's an eyeball and that's your sausage.
Someone smashing up the nasty bits from a carcass.
How does Rick feel about that, though? Does he feel like you're being unfaithful, you know, going off and working with Jack?
We kind of divorced amicably about 8 years ago.
You're still friends, though?
Yeah, we still see each other a lot, but you have periods of your life where, you know, it became too all-encompassing, that kind of relationship. It became everything we ever did, and it was...
Do you think you'll ever do something with him again, though? Do you think you'll ever...
We've got an idea for a sitcom for when we're very old. Yeah. You could be the evil nurse.
Please, Nurse Ratchet.
We want to set it in an old people's home, and it'll be like Bottom, but 30 years on.
Perfect.
So,
brilliant.
Hitting each other with colostomy bags and things like that.
Bellas is in. She's in. Good luck with the series.
No,
It starts
thank you
tonight
very
at
much.
8 o'clock on ITV1. A pleasure, as always, to have you in. Adrian Edmondson, everyone.
Thank you.
Bella's pitching for the job. We're going to take a break now. We'll be back. Ask